This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6 through verse 8 in the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdoms. There shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places." Matthew 24 and 8. And it reads, "All these are the beginning of sorrows." Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And I say shalom to you Akim out there. And as you see, I brought out Matthew 24, verse 6 to verse 8, and this is definitely increasingly coming to full effect. And this is a news article of abcnews.go.com. And this was a news article from the Associated Press by Marie Namgoakai, if I pronounced the name right. And this was published on September the 7th, 2022 at 6:27 a.m. And the highlight of this news article for in the news for today on September the 7th, 2022 at 1:54 p.m. Central Standard Time on this Wednesday afternoon. And it reads, Japan, U.S., South Korea reaffirm joint response to North Korea's threat. And it says diplomatics from the United States, Japan, and South Korea have reaffirmed their commitment to working together in response to any threats from North Korea, including a possible nuclear test. And I believe this is a 3-minute video right here, because it got right here, it says the three nations, United States Special Representation for North Korea, Sung Kim left, Japan Director General for Asia and Oceania, Associated Press. No, I think they weren't gonna. They're not gonna show the video. That's something else, Salakia. But continuing on with the reading, it says Tokyo diplomats from the United States, Japan, and South Korea reaffirmed their commitment on Wednesday to working together in a response to any threat from North Korea, including a possible nuclear test. The three senior diplomats in charge of North Korean affairs also underscored their efforts to strengthen their security partnership. Japan and South Korea acknowledged their need to improve bilateral and trilateral cooperation. Relations between Japan and South Korea have been badly damaged by historical disputes over Japan's colonization of the Korean Peninsula. Takari Fukunashi, Director General of the Asian and Oceania Affairs Bureau of Japan, Foreign Minister, said the focus of the trilateral cooperation is North Korea and its acceleration nuclear and missiles development. Fukunashi said he and his U.S. and South Korea counterparts, Sung Kim and Kim Gun, were discussed their countries' response to the North Korea as they work together to enhance regional deterrence, amending a looming possibility of further provocation, including another nuclear test. North Korea's last conduct a nuclear test is 6 in 2017, and experts have no signs of a preparation of another test. Fukunashi's also welcomed a missile defense exercise held by the three countries off the coast of Hawaii last month. Yeah, because I did a video on that as well too. And I believe Australia and many other countries in Indonesia, I believe they was part of that exercise as well too. Song Kim, the U.S. special envoy for North Korea, said the three countries, in preparing for all the continuities, if that's pronounced right. It says in responding to North Korea's provocation and to protect allies in the region. And it says their goal is the completion of denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula has not changed. Sung Jin Kim said, "We remain committed to seeking dialogue with North Korea," which I highly doubt, especially with the tensions increasing between North Korea and South Korea. Then you got the United States with it and Japan too. I don't see no dialogue with that anytime soon. And preparing to meet without preconditions, he said. It says Kim Gun, South Korea's special representation for Koreans Peninsula peace in what's that comes into mind? 1 Thessalonians 5:3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then some discretion come upon them. So I just had to add a little note on it to that. Peace and security affairs call for future and efforts to ensure full implementation on sanctions against North Korea, as they always been doing, putting sanctions on North Korea and Iran as well too. North Korea under the UN Nations Security Council resolution. Right, because they said not too long ago, it was a while back, I remember, they were saying that North Korea violating the UN Security Councils of a potential nuclear bomb, and that's breaking the UN security rules and violations, and they continue to put more hard economic sanctions on North Korea as they do measures of that to further to the denuclearization of North Korea, potentially firing nuclear missiles, the ICBMs, the hypersonic, the long range and the mid range and short missiles as well too, and developer of a nuclear bomb as well too. So that's not going to stop North Korea, even if they do get hit with, even if they do have violations of the UN Security Councils and economic sanctions that they face. That's not going to stop Kim Jong-un, and his regime to continue to fire off nuclear missiles and continue to develop ICBM missiles as well too. That's not going to stop them from that. As the book of Joel 3:10, let the weak say I am strong, because these nations are starting to show their military capability towards one another. That's why you got nations rising up against nations and kingdom against kingdoms. And it says Kim Gun, South Korea's special representation for Koreans Peninsula peace and security affairs, called for further efforts to ensure full implementation of sanctions against North Korea under the United Nations Security Council resolutions. So yeah, hey, that's just as the tensions increase more and more, and Japan, South Korea, and the United States, as they were formed to joint response, all three of them, representation for all three nations, for South Korea, Japan, and the United States, as they had a meeting. I believe they had a meeting today or yesterday, so they try to reassure and reaffirm a joint agreement between the three representations of the nations, as I mentioned, the United States, South Korea, and Japan, as they all three agreed together to stop North Korea from launching their nuclear missile tests and a possible upcoming of a nuclear test, as tensions starting to increase more and more between South Korea and North Korea, and the United States and North Korea as well too, and Japan and North Korea. So the tension is going to increase more and more and more. They trying to come up with solutions, trying to have a dialogue, peace and stability. Because like the scripture says, 1 Thessalonians 5:3, for when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction come upon them, because that nuclear war is coming, and we're seeing signs of that, North Korea is going to fire those nuclear missiles. They're going to continue to fire their nuclear missiles and test them as well too. And those intercontinental ballistic missiles as well too, which is the ICBMs, And I'm going to bring out that 1 Thessalonians 5:3, This is the book of 1 Timothy, chapter. No, that's. What's that? 1 Timothy? No, let me select it. When they shall say peace and safety. Oh, 1 Thessalonians, not 1 Timothy. I'm tweaking. Salakia for that. This is the book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them as a travail of a moment with a child, and they shall not escape. Right, because when these nations trying to find solutions of that peace and safety, stability type, then sudden destruction come upon them. Like similar situations with the over there in Yemen. They got a little trust agreement going on, a little ceasefire trust agreement. They announced a 2-month, back in June, I believe, they had agreed on a 2-month trust ceasefire agreement. But, because the nations, they had, because you got the Yemen forces over there with the Houthi rebels against the Yemen forces, then the Saudi Arabia coalition. You got non-stop continuing clashes between them over there as well too. And they blaming one another of violation over there in that region. They still going to war with it. They still going to war with each other over there. Same thing, just like the, was it over there in Ethiopia? They had like a stability trust agreement, but I think it was like 2 of the nations was going at it with each other over there again, and the wars continued on over there as well too. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Tigray or something like that, that organization, the 2 factors going at it with each other, because they was to have a long conflict over there. They was trying to find solutions to stop that war between those 2 nations. And just like the same thing you had with the because I did a video on that as well too a while back, early in July, I believe, about the Congolese about the Congolese and the Sudanese people. They had a cross-border conflict as well too. So yeah, same similarities, with the ceasefire agreements and stuff like that. And then those ceasefire agreements doesn't last long, you know. That's why it says when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction come upon them. Those are just prime examples. So with with the situation with the North Korea and United States, Japan, and South Korea, they all teaming up together, forming an alliance to stop North Korea from their, to denuclearize North Korea from their nuclear capability, which they not going to stop them from doing that. And it doesn't matter if y'all come to some type of conclusion, or form ways to have like a sit down talk dialogue with representations of North Korea as well too. That's not going to stop Kim Jong-un from doing his nuclear capability and his nuclear military readiness, because Kim Jong-un, we got to keep in mind, because once Kim Jong-un made that statement, I believe it was in early July, I believe. Yeah, it was in early July he made that statement. I believe it was in mid-July or the beginning of July, which is about 2 months ago. Kim Jong-un made that statement, was saying he's ready to respond to any war and any threats that's come from the United States, South Korea, and Japan, all of them three together. And Kim Jong-un is ready to go to war with them. And he's sending that nuclear war warning to all three of those nations, So that goes to show you the nations rising against nations, kingdom against kingdoms, as we see these wars and rumors of wars are definitely heating up. And it's going to heat up even more than ever. Just like that Russia-Ukraine situation, that's starting to get intensified now more than ever, So yeah, nations rising up against nations, kingdoms and against different kingdoms, rising up against one another as well too. So these things are going to increase more and more in the latter days, So that's all I just wanted to bring out of a news update in regards to wars and rumors of wars and nations rising up against nations, because we are living in biblical prophecy times as these events starting to take place on the planet Earth, because these are biblical prophecies according to the Holy Scriptures. Now we're starting to see it take effect as it was written in the book of the Holy Bible. Now it's being taken in full effect now, as it was written in the Holy Scriptures. All these things that was going to happen, now it's happening. Now we're seeing it right in front of our eyes on an everyday basis, So yeah, it's going to increase more and more. Nations rising up against nations, kingdom against kingdoms, wars and rumors of wars increasing now more than ever, For when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction come upon them as well too. That's starting to increase more and more as well too, So with that, once again, I hope this was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakar double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. Shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say shalom and a ball.